welcome in this brief interview series under the Wellbeing Training project and program. You know that as a consortium of partners, we are dedicated to the cause of embedding coaching into training. So in this regard, we wanted to create a library with resources, talking to fellow colleagues, coaches, trainers who would contribute to the learning path of our learners in this project. So I'm very grateful to have you today with us, as you are one of the most creative people in the coaching field, I know.
Thank you.
And briefly, first, before I jump into the questions, present yourself.
Thank you for having me. Yes, my name is Iana, and I've been in the field of coaching since more or less 2013. I've graduated from Noble Manhattan Coaching. It's based in the UK. And currently I'm still practitioner coach, and I'm certified and accredited from the International Institute for Coaching and Mentoring. And I know it might sound a cliche, but coaching really changed my life. When starting to study coaching, I never thought I will be practicing coaching. I thought, well, you know, it resonates with me. I just had my first child. It's a new approach. Maybe it will help me in the communication with my kids. Well, honestly, with my kids, I cannot be a coach, but it really did change completely the direction of my life. I went out of the corporate world and I started working on different projects in the field of coaching and education. And what I love most is actually to create a variety of coaching tools, which means that it can be a game, or it can be a set of cards or board game or an application. It really appeals to me, as more people can use that in their practice, if they are coaches or not. So more or less, this is about me.
You are also, your projects, some of them I know are also awarded. So indeed, your creativity also is kind of recognized on professional and international professional level. Tell us more about creativity and in training and in coaching. Is it possible, and how can we approach it?
Ooh, this is a very huge topic, but actually really interesting. And I think creativity lies in each one of us. Some of us can show it and manifest it easier than others, but generally creativity is a skill which can all benefit from. And I think that in times like now, with such fast transitions in the whole world and in education and training specifically, you know, due to the COVID, we all had to embrace the online learning and we all had to improvise, because it's not so easy as it seems. You know, if you need to conduct a really large training, you need to be creative in order to keep the attention of your audience. But this is how I think that creativity for coaches and trainers is the most important to introduce in their daily activities. And I think everybody does it, but maybe they don't label it creativity. You know, everybody has their own tips and tricks to keep the audience engaged. So this is also creativity. But creativity can be creating something, you know, maybe you don't have a shared board where you normally would use for your training, and you because you need it, you come up with some ideas, you know, you use something which already exists, but you implement it, or even you can draw it yourself and take pictures of it, and this would be a new tool. You might not label it that way, but this is also expression of a personal creativity. And I do believe that now there is no more such a sharp division between coaches and trainers and even educators, you know, because times are changing, people are demanded, even kids from early age, we need to coach them from first grade on, even on social and emotional intelligence. And so all these fields are becoming one, and we are all mixing skills and approaches from the different field. And here is where creativity, to make something authentic, that is really yours, you know, going out of the principle, following some kind of course of a border, but creating something where you feel more comfortable to transmit the knowledge and know-how you have.
Listening to you, I realized that creativity is not only something that happens within the training hall, the training moment, but much earlier when we plan on it. And I would say that for me personally, it's even more easy to be creative on my own when I'm on this planning phase, rather than on the moment when you already have some frame, some structure that you try to follow, more or less. But indeed, dancing with the moment, playing with the moment, as one of also core coaching skills,
Absolutely.
has a lot to do with creativity on site, in advance, and even afterwards, how you present
Absolutely
the learnings afterwards as a follow-up to participants, for example.
I
Thank you
do
very
agree.
much for this direction of the conversation. Tell us more about the tools, how you approach. We, for example, now are in a few projects together, and I am honored to be partner of yours, witnessing your creativity. But how it happens when you handle a concrete task like develop a coaching related tool, what is the first thing that comes to you? How you approach it?
Oh my God, wow. Now when you said like this, and I'm like, hi, how do you approach it? How do you approach it? What I do, firstly, in order to be able to approach something creatively, I need to keep my brain from information half empty, you know, because there is so much information around us, and so many limits and so many expectations and rules, that very often before we even start a task, we put it in some kind of a box, and then nothing creative comes out. So I have a few practices, I call them rituals, which I follow. I wish I could say every day, but most of the days when kids, weather, and work allows me, I always try to follow a very simple rule that first you need to create something easy to use, you know, because when we're talking about a tool, that means that it needs to be simple. And it's proven that the simpler something is, the better it will serve the audience. So, of course, I do a lot of research. This is something that we all need to do, not just to see what's on the market, but actually it's very good that when you focus and you get into the flow of similar ideas, you actually can come up with more ideas. You start seeing things, you start seeing their pitfalls and their advantages, and when you see a lot of them, somewhere subconsciously something starts to form in your head, and then you just need to answer the questions: who am I serving? What is the result which I want to achieve? And slowly you start shaping the final concept of the thing you want to have. The last thing I do is always go into the details of functionalities. You know, that's the last thing I focus on. There is in design, there is a theory for innovation that is called function follows form. It's more innovative if you first come with a form, and it's easier, you know, with the concept, and then to give it a function than the other way around. When you have something that is already functional, the form you will give to it, it will be most probably pretty standard. It will be like if you have 4 wheels, you will call it a car, you know. But if you have a car and you need to give it another function, then your imagination.
Add wings, for example.
For example, you know, or even something very boring, you know, car, another function of a car, you can sleep in the car, you know. And
Yes.
when you go and give 50 associations, you know, the first 10 are the rational ones, the ones that are really working. And then you get crazy because you cannot come up with more ideas. And then creativity starts sparkling. You come with such a crazy things that afterwards might spark something new, a new solution.
I absolutely love this, I can say, this brief tutorial on how to get creative, how to invite your creative power. And I will definitely follow your advice and will test it, how it works for me. And indeed, as they say, one of the best ideas come under the shower, but it's not because of the shower or the water, but because we really empty our head of everything else in those moments. This is definitely one thing we should do, but the other tips around design thinking and innovation that you just shared are also great stuff to follow if you want to invite our natural creativity, because we all are creative, as you said, and as we together discovered in one of the projects that we have been partnering recently in the art project, creativity is also a survival skill.
What we say actually is that creativity is born in times of limitations. The more limitation you have, the more creative you get.
And talking about skills, what are or which is, if it's one particular favorite coaching skill of yours?
I think it's authenticity, and it's related to being whole. You know, because we all come from different backgrounds and we've studied different coaching schools and we went through our career path and we are growing. It's all different models. But I think what is the most important is to embed everything we learn in with our own personality and background. Because what we've been going through in life, it's a great base on which we can develop and use these coaching skills. One without the other cannot really function. So being authentic, and when being ourselves, then it's when we can give the most to our clients. That's my motto. So I'm trying to be always myself. I don't see myself as a guru. I have also a lot of problems and unsolved conflicts within myself. But I believe that we all, the whole life, we are going, humans, we are expanding our whole life. And it's normal, you know, we want to manifest and then we make mistakes and we learn and we move forward. And nobody will ever get to the point of being completely developed. But when you are authentic and you can show your sides, your upsides and your less positive side, people feel better, you know, because they don't think, oh, she's so good, you know, and I cannot do it. They just see the human in us. And that's why I always say that being ourselves, being centered, it's the most important coaching skill for me. When things flow, this means we are following ourselves and we are being ourselves. When we are really struggling with a training or with an audience or with a task, that means that we have gone into certain role or a personality, or we are fitting somebody else's expectations, and these are kind of blockages that might stop us from being authentic. And it's not easy. But what helps me, I have a diary, and every morning it's been a ritual. I wake up earlier, and for 10-20 minutes with myself and my coffee, I write in this diary. Just, I never plan what I'm going to write. It's most probably when I read them all one day, I won't understand them, but it's like my brain comes out with everything that it doesn't want to hold on to anymore. It might be some kind of grudges. It might be some happy moments or something. Just I'm writing down whatever comes to me. At the beginning, I had to put the clock, and sometimes I'm really worrying that nothing will come out, because when I go to my notebook and I'm like, I don't have really much to say today, but actually that's not true. Your hand just start writing, even though you think it's nothing there. And you feel a little bit lighter and relaxed after you finish that. It's really, really, really cool. You have space and you are balanced. This is something what I do to overcome also being overwhelmed and stressed. And of course, I don't do it every morning. Sometimes when I feel the need of doing it during the day or in the evening, or I have inspiration, I do it again. And the other things which I discovered pretty soon and really helps me is as you can see, I am lucky to live at the bottom of a not very high, but high enough mountain. And I started walking in the mountain for, depends on the time I have, but the idea is that I go to a place where it's silent. I switch off my mobile and I just sit on one place observing whatever is in front of me, a tree, a bird, a flower, for 10 minutes, sometimes for 20, sometimes for less than 10 minutes. Just focusing on that, and afterwards I really feel alive. It's like, I think even it's proven that phones, computers, routers, they all have this positive energy that they, not positive as being good, but it's almost electrical energy, these small particles we get our body, and they make us feel more stressed and more tense. And in nature is the other way around. It has these negative particles.
But
so
in a
the more
positive way.
time but with positive influence.
Perfect. Yes.
So this is something that helps. I mean, it's so easy, I was so surprised I haven't done that for so many years. We all have somewhere around us a place where we can walk for 20 minutes and just switch off the phone and sit and observe something without, you have the instinct of taking out your phone, because when your brain relaxes, you immediately start thinking, oh, I was supposed to do that. Oh, I was supposed to call Sveto. Oh, I haven't answered this email. And you automatically want to grab your phone again. But if you resist, within 10-15 minutes, you feel refreshed and ready again to go further. So this is just an idea.
As you said, if you resist, it's like the best moment to when to stop eat. Like when you feel that you can eat more, wait for this next 15 minutes, and probably you will be sufficiently feeded. Thank you so much, Iana. It was such a pleasure and such an inspiration to talk to you today. Grateful to having you, and thank you for your time and for all tips, tricks, and authenticity that you shared with us.
Thank you very much for having me, and all the best to you and the project. It's a great project. Thank you.